motion that we open up.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Our chairman and vice chair are both not present. I'd like to make a motion to have Bob Brown serve as chairman for this meeting again.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
We'll get started. We have minutes to be approved for October 20th, 2020. Has everyone had a chance to look at them? Can we get a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes as printed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're approved. Amanda, is there any other meeting mail we gotta go over?
No.
Okay, I'll get right into new business. We have a case. We're bringing again an old continued case. Before I do that, I just the town clerk's office informed us that there was an error again in the advertising with the newspaper for that October 20th meeting. So I just want to, for the record, state that the two cases that we're going to start with tonight, 2020-07-28 and 2020-10-20, were both continued till this evening. And there was another case, 2020-10-20B, for Elive Barina. You can help me with that, Amanda? How was that pronounced?
You might want to attempt your best, Bob.
But anyways, that case was approved for a special permit. Sorry for any confusion about that advertisement. I do believe all the neighbors were there. That was the Middle Road, the little store there on Middle Road that's going to open up the construction of underwater pots. And there were neighbors present, and they were all in favor for it. So just want to get that clarified before we start. So now the continuation of the case, 2020-07.28A and 2020.10.20A, New England Retail Development, LLC, care of Tom Pratt. Is Mr. Pratt with us this evening, or another representative?
Nope. Yeah, this is Phil Lombardo, the attorney for the project. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
All right, thank you. I just wanted to make sure you could hear me. I'm calling Zoom. We're going to ask that because we heard the comments that were given at the last meeting. We're working on plans, and we're also still in the middle of the traffic study. So we're going to ask that this matter be continued until December, both matters.
No issue with that. Can I get a motion from the board?
I'll make that motion.
Second it.
We will continue this. This is a rather large large project, I should say, and we do want to have all the information we can when we make this decision, and all the input from the other boards that are going over it, and the inspector, and especially the planning board with the public feedback. So I have no issue continuing that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bob, we need to pick a date.
Okay. Do we have a date scheduled for our next regular meeting?
We don't have a date scheduled yet. We do have cases to be heard. If you'd like to do them in December, it might be a little tough before the week of the holidays. So it's up to you if you want to. With the advertising restrictions, I don't know if we'd have enough time to get it in beforehand, unless you want to meet the week of Christmas. I think it's the 22nd is that Tuesday. Other than that, if you'd like to meet a week into January, it's up to you.
Mr. Lombardo, does your clients have any objection to waiting till first or second week of January to wrap up their other work?
No, I don't think a week or two is going to matter one way or the other.
Okay. So how about we're looking at January 12th.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, excuse me, before you go ahead and close this out, my name is Josh Arosh. I'm one of the abutters to the project. I just would like to reference the the paper that we received from the town regarding what the meeting is about. So I'm a little confused because from what my understanding, this meeting's for a special permit for the size of the building. Is that correct?
They're petitioning both for a size increase over what's allowed by regular use. That requires a special permit. And they're also petitioning for a sign that's in excess of the square footage and 15 foot. So
Okay.
two special permits they're requesting.
The case B, the 2010-20 refers to the signage properly.
Correct.
However, the first case doesn't specify the special permit. What its reference is, it states petitioning for a special permit to be able to open and operate a gas station and convenience store with drive-through within the village business district. So this does not reference the size of the building. What it's referencing is a special permit to allow the convenience store, the gas station, and the drive-through. So a little confusion on our part being in a butter. One, has anyone determined the use of the drive-through? And two, has the applicant been informed of whether it is a permitted use or not?
First, Mr. Rocha, could I have your address for the record, please?
Yes, 168 Main Street. We abut the proposed property both to the north and the east.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I'm actually rereading this, and you're correct. I do remember it is a continuance, so as it's been continued, it might have been shortened or something, but I do remember it specifically starting off with the size.
Mm-hmm.
So
I remember that.
we do have enough time to just check into that and see why that's been dropped or what the issue was. But yes, we're definitely, the case was brought before us to allow, the use is allowed. So that shouldn't be what's there. It shouldn't be whether they're able to operate and open, because it is allowed, but.
That would be the gas station, correct?
Correct.
How about the drive-through?
Drive-through is a separate issue.
Okay, because to me, there's some confusion with the drive-through as well. So in the past, this board has referenced it being a decision of the planning board to determine whether it's an allowed use. However, over in the planning board meetings, they referenced it as a zoning board issue. So it seems like there's been no clarification, and to be honest, I can't get a clarification from the building inspector, from the town. There was a brief reference that they had referenced KP law, and it was determined that it's certainly not an allowable use, that they would need a variance. But again, I'm not sure if has the applicant been notified of this, because every time they seem to bring up the plans, it still has the drive-through on the plans. I mean, they may change that during the continuance in December, but maybe the applicant would be able to answer that if they have been informed by anyone of the town, whether regarding the use of the drive-through. I would think that would be.
Is that a question to me through the chairman?
Yes, please. If you do have any information from the owners, if they're still looking for a drive-through, might be the time to answer that.
Well, we've been made aware of the town's position. We're still looking at the plan. We were prepared, to show whatever plans are going to be upgraded. We're prepared to show that at our next meeting. It was going to be in December. Now it's early January. So, other than the fact that we're aware of the issue, I don't really have a particular comment on that.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to request to have this discussed at the next meeting when that hearing can be opened, because with our Chairman Hippolito not here, if there's any discussion on this matter, he is not present. Therefore, if he's at the next meeting, he won't be able to vote. So I'd like to hold off on this discussion until we have the plans and can talk about it at the next meeting, please.
Good.
Well, I think it's important that it is addressed, because again, we're getting paperwork that's not reflecting.
I just don't want it to be a discussion without a full board tonight. We have no intention on voting on the matter tonight. It was voted to be continued. Please bring it up at the next meeting, and hopefully we'll have our regular chairman back and have a full board.
No, I completely understand. It's just, I think for the rest of the citizens, they should know what is being voted on. But if they could just
I agree.
the next paperwork.
I agree. We'll clarify in this continuation that what we're voting on will be clearly listed before the next meeting.
Okay, I appreciate it. That's all I was asking for. Thank you very much.
There was some discussion, but there was a motion and a second. All in favor of the continuance?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes the first two cases. We're continued. Our next case, 2020.11.24A, is somebody to represent 120 Mendel Road. With us this evening? Everybody? Mike McLusky?
Michael McMillan.
Can I hear you? Mr. McLusky, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. You're up.
Okay.
You've petitioned for a special permit to be able to park more than one commercial vehicle at this property.
Yes.
Can you give us a further explanation of what you got going
Yeah,
on there?
we just park the vehicles here and leave in the morning. Both gas trucks, there's no backing up. We drive in and drive out. That's pretty much it. No business is conducted here. No maintenance is conducted here. We just literally conduct our trade somewhere else from start to finish. I just live here and park both vehicles here. So we're really asking for the one extra vehicle.
Okay. What is the business? What type of truck?
Mike's Tree Service.
Tree service. Very good.
Yeah, and it's an F350 and an F550. The oldest being a 2016. They're both in excellent condition. They're both clean. They don't leak anything.
Are they parked against the street or neighbors, or do you have them
Park them
relatively
out by
tucked
the
in?
edge of the property initially, just because we've been having a lot of electrical and other type of contract work done here. And you never know exactly what day the contractors are coming or what week sometimes. So most of that has been completed. So this week we've been working on the yard, planting some plants, and we've had the trucks closer to the house. With winter coming, we'd like to park them in the driveway. But with, movers coming and furniture deliveries, we just moved in recently. They couldn't get by if we were where we want to keep the trucks. Now that that's pretty much over, we can park them closer to the house or right along the edge of the driveway, which would put them in between the two driveways, our driveway and the next driveway, which would be out of everyone's line of sight, basically.
If I could, I went by today. They have a long driveway. I couldn't see anything or any trucks. It's just, and they're small. They have an F350 and an F650. My vote is to give them the variance.
Hold on, I'm one of the owners of 124 Mendel Road.
We'll give you a chance to talk.
Okay, so I've actually filed a complaint and sent in some pictures. It's a little bit more than just
Wait.
two trucks.
Excuse me. Can I have your, I got your address. Can I have your name?
Okay, so my name is Marco Dias. I'm the owner of 124 Mendel Road. I'm right
you.
behind Mike's property. And
Okay.
first, I have no problem with Mike. He's a new neighbor and he seems like a very nice person. My issue is it's more than two trucks. There's trailers attached to those trucks. There's also some landscaping equipment. That area is zoned for no business. Mike's obviously running his business through his property. My issue is you give him this permit and you give him for an extra truck or an extra two trucks. What's next? Right now, he's got a chipper there also. He's got two registered trailers to carry also on the property. I've sent him pictures of all the work. He's actually running his business through their property. And there's also other paperwork that was signed when he purchased the property that he knows that he cannot run the business. When I bought that property 16 years ago, one of the reasons why I bought it is because I knew, at least was stated, that, you know, nobody would ever, there was certain speculations to that land. Nobody would ever be able to run. One of them was nobody would ever be able to run a business through it. My issue is every time I drive up my driveway, I am confronted by his trucks, his trailers, his equipment. And in the future, if I ever try to sell my property, whoever goes up there and tries to buy my property, I'm going to lose value of my property because of that. And that's a major issue. And that's my main issue, is losing value to my property. And that's one of the reasons why I bought that property, was because nobody could ever run the business through there. Mike also has about 7 garbage barrels and 4 recycling bins down on his property. That's telling you that he's running his business through his property.
That's interesting, Marco, because you were the one that was borrowing those trash barrels. When
Well,
we
I was when
Excuse me,
that
this
property.
discussion needs to go through the chairman. And Mr. McCluskey, I just want you to know too, should we vote on this tonight, anything that gets voted on, you requested the trucks. Any
One other thing, can I just say one other thing?
Hold up, please.
Excuse me. Any trailers, any other equipment, anything like that would need to be included if it's going to be approved with the special permit. That includes the trailers and everything. So your request was for the truck. So if there are anything else,
the trailers aren't considered commercial, as I was.
They are commercial. They are registered commercial.
In speaking to the building commissioner as well as the town clerk, they told me that the trailers were simply that, as most neighbors in this area have either multiple shipping containers or campers and trailers and multiple trailers parked in their yard. I was advised that this is only in regards to the commercially registered vehicles. And given
is that trailer registered?
The trailer is registered.
Sir, one at a time, please.
Yeah, if I could finish. In Massachusetts, MGL states that a vehicle is the only one that would be registered commercially, or like an 18-wheeler trailer. So the only thing we have that's commercially registered are the trucks. The trailers are simply that. One is a trailer that's for our lawnmower, which with 3 acres of grass and fields, we have a rather large tractor / lawnmower. It's ours just for that. That doesn't leave the property. We have an enclosed landscape trailer, which houses the tools, which stays attached to the truck, and a wood chipper, which stays attached to the truck. We've already sold one of the trailers, and the other trailer will be sold shortly.
Hey, Mike, is that chipper attached to your truck right now?
Sir, address me, please, if you have a question.
Bob, ask him if that trailer is attached to the truck. That chipper is attached to one of his trucks right now.
Right now, no, because we use the other trailer, which we're selling to pick up trees to plant in our yard for our own personal use. But when that trailer is sold, the chipper will be the only other trailer in the yard and attached to the truck.
It hasn't been for the last 3 months. Oh, ever since
chipper?
It hasn't been since you bought that property.
The wood chipper has only come off the truck this week as I picked up trees and installed them.
Okay. I'm going to ask if there's anybody else. It looks like we have another
we do
audience
have
member here that might have questions. Is there any other abutters that have input on this?
Hi, yes, this is Sean. I'm speaking on behalf. I'm here with my parents. They English as a second language, so I'm speaking on behalf of them.
Excuse me,
name and address, please.
10. Yep, I'm giving that to you. 104.
Yep.
Mendel Road. Well, you know, obviously.
Okay, go ahead.
So I do agree with everything that Marco had said. I'm not going to repeat everything, but I do I agree with all the concerns that he brought up.
Okay.
You know, with the values of the home, it is concerning for that, and it is. I do agree. It is by quite a bit of vehicles. It's not just one truck. So I would, you know, that's good that we're gonna get that addressed and, you know, address everything at once rather than, you know, I feel like we're looking at one thing here, but there's a lot more to the situation.
If I could respond to that when there's an opening.
Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, we keep logs of all the times we come in and out. We barely work 40 hours a week. Not that we don't have the work, it's just we're not killing ourselves right now. And we generally don't work that many hours. We come in, we literally leave once in the morning and we come back in the afternoon. If any materials need to be dumped other than wood chips that I'm using for my children's play area, we dump them after we get to the job site. We disconnect the trailer from the vehicle at the job site, drive to the location we dispose of said materials, dispose, go back, go back and hook up. We don't do any of that here. We're not bringing any wood here. We don't cut any trees here. We don't do anything here. Honestly, I don't really even take phone calls or emails here. I do that all in the truck on the job site. I have no interest in doing it here. No clients come here. There is no business conducted here other than us parking. And the idea that there's all this traffic here is sort of silly. You know, each one of the neighbors goes in and out of their driveway consistently all day long. We leave in the morning, we come home. The babysitter comes in, takes the kids to school, and one of us or the babysitter picks them up and then leaves at the end of the day.
Thank you, Michael. Is there any other neighbors that would like to speak?
Jocelyn D'Souza
No.
and Shane D'Souza were going to join, but she told me she was having issues connecting to the meeting. But I do have letters from them.
96 Mendel Road, please. Hello, Bob.
Yep.
96 Mendel Road, Jason Medeiros.
Thank you.
Representing the household. I concur also with Mark and the Rocha family with all the vehicles that are on the site.
So
I guess, Bob, my question would be, as I understood it, the vehicles that we're asking for the permission, as I have spoke at length to the town office.
You are allowed as many registered vehicles as you have.
Okay.
You are only allowed one commercial vehicle. Again, you're petitioning for a second one, which isn't a problem normally.
Yep.
The issue is that all that we're doing, or is it more? Your neighbors, a team of them, all ganged up, seem to think that you're in and out conducting your business there. I'm listening to you. It doesn't sound like the case. You can certainly pull your trailer, as you say. It doesn't change the. Doesn't need to be something added to, but it does change. And you know, as Ms. Baptiste has said, if you are hauling materials in and out with them trailers and using your land to conduct your business, it does change.
We don't do any of
something
that.
You need a different special permit for.
No, we don't do any of that, as I spoke at length with that to Jim Merritt, as well as Pam Labonte. So we don't do any of that. There's none of that here. We don't transport anything in or out. I don't want that in my yard. You know, we just, yeah, my wife doesn't either, as she said. We literally bring the truck in and out in the morning and the afternoon. The trash barrels we have paid for the barrels at our old house and kept them. And we had the two, you know, recycling and we have 3 trash and 3 recycling. So we just have them. I mean, I don't understand Marco's issue with that, because when we moved in, he pulled the numbers off and moved them to his property repeatedly and used them. We don't put trees in the trash barrel. We don't bring anything here. I brought wood chips into it, and I could, you know, if the town wanted to come and take a look, they can. There's nothing here out of the ordinary.
I did drive by too, as well as Mr. Centerizzo. I didn't see any issue. The property was clean and everything was fine.
That's something else I'd like to address. When we got here, the lawn was 5 feet high from the beginning of the property to the well, which is 25 feet off the house. And then beyond that was, you know, 20 foot to 25 foot trees and overgrowth and a mess. All the neighbors' dogs were in the yard using it to go to the bathroom. You know, we've since obviously removed all of that, cleaned the yard up. We've spent $10,000 or $15,000 on plants to this point already and installed them. We've done quite a bit of work to the yard, and we continue to improve it. I mean, if anything, we've improved the neighbors' values. Marco told me the day he came over, or the second time he came over, that he wanted to put a solar farm in my front yard. So the idea that he's worried about the property values decreasing because there's an F350 and an F550 in the driveway seems silly when he was going to install a solar farm directly in front of all of our houses. I mean, it's not one, I asked everyone, no one had a problem with it. And then after the fact, it was that we're not allowed to conduct a business here. We don't conduct a business. We literally are a tradesman who leaves in the morning and comes back in the afternoon.
Marco, you had another comment?
Yes. So anyways, when I filed the complaint with Mike, I forget his last name. Hold on, I'll get it. I think his name was Mike. I included pictures of the property and pictures of all the trailers, pictures of the 10 garbage barrels, and so
None of that
everything
stuff
should
is
be
relevant.
in
though.
file.
That's my big issue. Is
I know, but listen, it shows you. It shows you what's on the property right now. That's all I'm saying. You know what's on the property,
I mean, this is silly.
including everything that's on the property. That's what the pictures showed, and that's what I'm speaking about. I'm telling the truth. Everything is there. Again, I don't have a problem with Mike. I have a problem with a business being started on the property. When I bought the property, there's actually the Perry family actually signed the deed, which Mike signed when he also purchased the property, that no business should be held out of that property. That area is zoned for not.
Okay, let me just tell you, that's a separate issue.
Yeah, but that's fine. I mean,
this board has no prevalence, no decision making on what happens with deeds. That's something where you would.
That's fine, but still, the area is zoned for not for.
I understand, and
Okay.
what he's doing is allowed. He can certainly run an at-home business where he can pull his truck in and out of his driveway. What he's not allowed to do is with 2 trucks. So the only thing he's before
And the trailers.
No, he's not here for the trailers at all. The only thing he's asking us is if he can have 2 trucks there versus 1. Everything else he's doing.
Commercial vehicles, correct?
Correct. 2 commercial vehicles versus 1, which is allowed by right. The second one is allowed if we grant them the right. We certainly don't want to grant the right to have more things that are disturbing the neighbors. But on the other hand, the big S650 with the trailer hooked up to it can come in and out of that home every single day.
His employees can park his cars in his driveway also? That's running a business, right?
We don't have a 650. It's an F550, which is just a normal dump truck, and an F350, which is a normal dump truck.
So you have employees coming there to take them out? Is that what's happening?
One car that comes in and takes 1 truck.
I have pictures of 3 of them there.
We don't have 3 employees. We don't have 3 cars. We have babysitters, and my wife had a major surgery.
Okay, that's what it is.
Her family was here, and my family was here, and the babysitters were here. I mean, I don't understand what cars would have to do with anything. I mean, like I said to the neighbors, worst case.
You're running a business. That's what it is, Mike. From your property.
As I stated before, we don't feel we're running a business. Me parking in my driveway and then leaving in the morning isn't an issue. I mean, there's cars coming out of your yard, Marco, until 12.
Yeah, that's my kids.
Okay.
That's my kids.
But we leave at 8:30 in the morning or 8:45 in the morning, and we're back at 2:30 in the afternoon. I mean, the house behind us had a party the night we moved in until 3 a.m. That didn't seem to bother anyone. They ride ATV until 3 or 2 in the morning that night. That didn't seem.
They're not running a business.
We're not running a business either. We're literally parking here. And as I explained to the neighbors, if they want, I'll let the employee take the truck that's an issue home. The F550 will leave every day, and it will back up to the trailer every morning and hook up to the trailer and leave. That's
That's still running a business.
That additional truck, we can, as I understand it, and speaking to all the town officials that would be involved in the permits and the usage of the. Sorry.
Want to ask the rest of the board members if they've heard enough or would like to hear more discussion on this?
Is there any other abutters before?
There is Jocelyn and Shane D'Souza.
Did they write you something?
They did write letters, and I've also spoken to several of the abutters across the street who said they had no issue, but I was under the impression that they would be contacted by you if they needed anything. I have both letters. This one is from Shane.
Okay.
Actually, his name is Shane Dolman. Her name is Jocelyn D'Souza, and they live next to Marco.
If you don't mind, if you want that in the record, if you could send a copy of that to the town clerk's office,
I didn't know
that would be great.
if I had to get it before or after the meeting, so.
Yeah, no, that would be great. If there's no other abutters that do want to speak. I want to let you know, Mr. McCluskey, that we do only have 4 members of the board here tonight.
Okay.
So you can choose to have us vote, and you'd have to have a unanimous vote tonight. Or you can choose to be continued. And
I don't mind it being continued. It's whatever's better from the board's perspective. We really don't have an issue either way. Like I said, I mean, the worst case, we're just going to park one of the trucks off site. So we're trying.
So you are willing to do that if that were the case.
Oh, absolutely. And we've offered, you know, my biggest issue is I spoke to the neighbor in front and I said, where would you like the trucks? He said, I don't give an F, put them down back, meaning but next to Marco's house. Marco said, I don't care where they are. I want them up there where they are now because I can't see them. I don't have a problem.
That's not true, Mike.
And the person behind me said he doesn't care where they are. He just doesn't want them next to his house. So it's sort of like, you know, but each house has more cars than they're allotted or buildings they're not supposed to. So,
but in regards to the 2 commercial trucks that we're talking about.
Absolutely, if one had to park off property, no problem.
You are willing to park one off the property?
Oh, if I don't get the permit, that's fine with me. I mean, if I'm not using them to work on my own property, I could park one of them off the property.
Because I feel that would alleviate you even being here. I feel like everything else that was said are external issues that we're not here to discuss tonight. And
no, but I'm just worried that they're going to continually bring me back because I have trailers here. Some of those trailers are personal use trailers. One neighbor has a camper with someone living in it, free, you know what I mean? So it's sort of like we're new.
Would it be possible for me to share pictures with you guys?
Sure.
How can I do this?
Yes.
You got an email that I can send all these pictures?
No, I'd like to. You can't show them to the screen right now?
Let me see if I know how to do this.
Just hold them in front of your camera.
In front of my, yeah, but the problem is they're on my iPad and I am on my iPad. That's why I would have to share them through an email. If I can send it to you, Bob, Amanda, and the rest of the board meetings.
It really depends on the rest of my board and if they're ready to take a vote on this, or if
you need to see the pictures, I have about 15 pictures of all the trailers, the chipper, the employee cars parked there and everything else during the day.
I have a problem with everyone saying any car at my house is an employee car because there's a house in front of me that there's 7 vehicles at every day.
Mike,
are those people employees of a business they could be running? Or, you know, if a car is at my house,
I feel like we're not here to talk about the business. We're here to talk about the 2 trucks.
And that's kind of the point I'm trying to make. You only have one vehicle.
Here's my thing, Mr. Dias. Anything beyond the 2 commercial trucks, that is what we're voting on. Mr. Merritt, the building inspector, is the zoning enforcement officer. So if there's anything zoning enforcement related that you'd like looked into, I would totally go to him, talk to him. There's nothing we can do in regards to that right now, as just us voting on exactly what we're here for, which is these 2 trucks. Like I said, I would call Mr. Merritt, have a conversation with him. You could show him your pictures. He can look into anything further that Mr. McCluskey may need for any sort of permits if he's violating any bylaws in town. But as directed by Mr. Merritt to this board was voting on just these 2 commercial trucks, and that only. So honestly, if there's anything in the future, then it'll come this way if it needs to, but I don't think it's worth, you know.
I got a question for you. So on this, when it came up, it said more than 1 commercial truck at his property. So more than 1, what does it mean? 2, 3, 4, 5?
That's what I wanted to get to. I was letting him end the finish, but we're only voting on 1 truck. He's already allowed the
addition of 1, correct?
He's already allowed 1 truck.
One of your personal vehicles is commercial, right, Mike?
What's that?
One of your personal vehicles is commercial?
No. That's a plate that was...
It's commercial. That's what it says on it.
I checked with the registry. They said that is considered a personal.
Oh, but your plate says commercial. That's all I'm saying.
I can switch the plate to personal if that really upsets you with my pickup truck.
No, listen, I'm just saying you said more than 1, and your personal vehicle says commercial. So now you have 3 there right now that say commercial.
Well, that's a good question. You know, my question would be, do I need...
I'm just saying, I mean, listen, if you want to get technical, that's what I'm saying. Right now, one of your pickup trucks has a commercial plate plus 2 work trucks that have commercial plates.
In checking with Massachusetts general law and speaking to registry officials as well as some town officials, the pickup truck would be considered under 10,000 pounds, so it's not considered a commercial vehicle.
But it's registered
Honestly,
commercial. That's all I'm
I
saying.
honestly don't know why there's a commercial plate on that. It came from the dealership with that. There
Okay.
may have been, because my insurance.
Because it's
was
registered to
commercial,
your business. That's why.
It's not registered to my business. It's registered to me personally.
Okay. All right.
I don't.
Just saying. Just if we're gonna get technical, I'm just right now. There's 3 commercial vehicles on your property.
An F-150 that's not lettered that is considered a passenger.
Okay, that's fine. Well, listen, but
I
it
have a
has a commercial
question.
plate.
I have a question, 96 Mendel Road. I just want to know, Mike, if you have a commercial business, where is it located? Like the offsite?
He does have a business permit to operate there. This is a customary home occupation. It is allowed. If it's not allowed because of a deed restriction that I'm unaware of.
No, but I'm just saying it could all be avoided. This could all be avoided if he had, I mean, if he has a business and he's got an off-site building, wouldn't it just be easy to just store everything there?
Why would I have how would I park a vehicle? First of all, we don't do.
Where is your business registered, Mike?
I just
That
don't
is
know.
What's the
Mendel Road.
address?
We don't do any business here. That's the thing. We would go to the client's house, do the estimate.
I
give
know,
them
but
the
your
contract
business
at
is
the time of the estimate.
registered under what address?
I can tell you that. I checked into it today. His business is registered at his home, which is allowed. There is no restriction to that in this town. He actually went and applied. His business was at Rogerson Ave in Acushnet, and he moved it to his new address.
Okay, that's the last time I checked. That's where it was registered. That's why I said.
I checked with the town clerk today. He's done the right thing and filled
When
out
was
the
it changed?
paperwork to transfer.
I just want to
Okay.
be clear that
Must have been changed recently.
we went to the building commissioner and the town clerk prior to purchasing a property, prior to even viewing a property, to be sure that we were okay as far as they were.
But Mike, you seen the
concerned.
deed. You signed off on the deed.
Marco, I didn't see anything on the deed, and we expressed our concerns to the attorney at the closing that we were going to park our trucks here and to our real estate agent. No one ever mentioned anything about the deed other than you.
No, you signed it, Mike. There's a copy of you signing that deed. Maybe you
Gentlemen, if I may, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but we are here for 3.3.1 BA. Parking for more than one truck or commercial vehicle. It's not a business. It's not anything else. I don't mean to be disrespectful to anybody, but that is what the zoning enforcement officer sent to the Board of Appeals for this gentleman.
Thank you. And I want to be clear that we're only asking for the one additional vehicle, the one pickup truck and the 2 dump trucks. That's all we're asking for. We're not asking to bring in a fleet of Amazon trucks tomorrow if we get the permit. What you see here is what's here, and we've been downsizing and eliminating equipment. We are not.
May I ask one more question, sir? These retreat lots, how much acreage of land is, because there's, looks like there's 2 or 3 driveways right next to each other?
I have roughly 3 acres.
We have 2.97 acres.
Thank you.
Okay, and I don't know if they're known as retreat lots, just under 3 acres, correct?
They're all about 3 acres.
Okay, thank you, sir. That's just a question, because when I went by, it looked like the driveway goes up a hill.
Correct.
But I didn't drive on the land because it's private property, not for me to drive on.
The retreat lot requires 120,000 feet.
Yep.
Nothing for nothing, but maybe you should have drove up the driveway and checked out the equipment.
I will. I don't drive on private property, sir.
Mark, do you have a recommendation or a motion to make?
Well, I would make the motion. It's up to Mr. McCloskey if he wants it. He has to understand that if any one person does not vote for this, this turns this particular article down and he can't come back for 2 years. Am I correct on that, Amanda?
Yes.
So it's up to Mr. McCloskey if he wants us to take a vote tonight, or he would like to continue it till our next meeting where we might have the
only thing I'd have a concern with now is that we've heard the whole hearing that without a.
Paul didn't hear it, so he
Paul
won't be
didn't
able
hear
to
it.
vote.
Right.
My biggest issue, if I could say, is I've tried to explain this at length to Marco, to Sean, that's representing his parents, that Jay behind us, that all we're asking for is a permission to park one more vehicle here. Like I said, I explained to Joyce Lopes when we purchased the property, that was my sole intent. The gym, no one ever expressed any concerns. We spoke to all the neighbors when we moved in, no problem, we don't mind what you're doing. And now we've got this, but it doesn't seem to be clear to them that this is just an issue of the additional vehicle. That's all. Excuse me.
Well, the other issue, maybe,
I
the other
just have
issue we'll
one
take up
thing
some
to
other time,
say.
Mike.
I believe the challenge is your neighbors don't want you to have what you're doing there at this particular moment.
I would like to add something in. I don't believe any of us were spoken to in the beginning, so we only realized after what was going on, and I just feel like this permit contradicts whatever, if you guys can enforce the agreement or not. At the end of the day, we did, when everyone invested in these properties, had an agreement set forth through the covenant that there would be no business in this area. These homes were to be kept as just that, homes, to provide quality homes for us. And it just doesn't make sense to all of a sudden now there already is a business permit located here. So what was the purpose of this paperwork that should have, I guess, never should have been done and put forth to us anyways? There's things that we would have wanted to do all this time that, you know, my parents would have wanted to do, but we looked at the paperwork and said, you know what, we can't do that. There's paperwork saying we cannot make business here. We cannot have this or that on our properties. And that's just the main concern. And I just want that to be known. I wasn't spoken to before, during, or after anything. I only was spoken to after the complaint was made. And that's just my concerns, and the concerns of my parents, actually.
I just want to say deed restrictions are a thing, and they are legal, and they can be enforced, but they are not enforced by public officials. They're enforced by law and lawyers and lawsuits. So if somebody's operating a business on something that's deeded not to, that's a totally separate issue that needs to be, you know, discussed with the courts. So
Okay.
if that is the case, if that lot is deed restricted to have no business, then I would say there is a separate issue here.
Mm-hmm. So is there any issues that anybody would like to discuss as far as just the truck alone? No equipment, no anything else, just the 350 and the 550 that are already there, only the trucks themselves?
Amanda, plus his pickup that's also registered commercial. So that's
Which
three.
Mr. McCluskey, you said you're going to be changing that to personal plates, correct?
Yeah. But it's not, it's been there since he lived there, so it's three right now.
But what we're voting on, he's not including that because he's going to be changing that, is my understanding. So.
But he hasn't yet, Amanda. I mean, right now, as we sit, it's still a commercial vehicle.
And that's fine. If we vote on this right now, we're voting on what he wants to do. So if we vote on the 350 and 550, anything outside of that, including the one with the commercial plates, which he's saying will be switched to private, is on him to do. And then anything, let's say hypothetically that didn't happen, then it would go through the zoning enforcement officer against whatever he was approved for. But at this time, obviously we know he has those vehicles. That's what we're here to talk about and tell him what can and can't be, you know, included with what we're voting on. But I'm okay with, are you guys want to make a motion tonight on just the 350 and the 550?
Well, it wouldn't be on these two individual trucks. You can't do that. He can park any two commercial vehicles there if we allow it. If he buys a new, you know, trades in his 550 for 450 or does something. So basically what you're doing is the motion would allow the use of one additional commercial vehicle. Because one is allowed. You're not voting for 1, 2, or 3. You're just one
Not
additional.
the two specific trucks that are there.
Correct.
Okay.
Any two commercial vehicles, because he's allowed one by use and the special permit would allow one other, is what he's asking for. We could allow 3 others, but he's only asking for 1 other.
No, I just want the extra, just the one. I don't want any more vehicles.
I think it's up to Mr. McCloskey if he wants to do it tonight or the next meeting. I will throw that out. It's up to him.
What is the vote? It's normally 7 members, if I'm understanding.
5.
5? It always has to be unanimous, or is it
Doesn't have to be unanimous. You
Tonight
need 4
has
out
to
of
be.
Tonight
5.
it has to be.
Yes.
unanimous?
The only thing I'd have to look into with town council again is the fact that we've had the public hearing tonight. So only the members who have heard the public hearing are able to vote on it.
Could I ask Bob something? Bob, I got a
Sure.
question for you. Since that area of Acushnet is zoned non-business,
No, that's not, the entire town is zoned residential A, except for a couple of portions which are zoned business district, and there's a very small section that's, it's more of an
Industrial, Bob.
industrial. But the entire town is RA, they call it, but it's not, does not mean that there can't be a business there. There's just some allowed businesses.
and how does that get determined?
Well, there's a list of all businesses allowed in the bylaws. And under that, the top one would be customary home occupation, which basically says just about anything that they go out. Whether you're a plumber or a carpenter or a electrician or even hair salons and stuff, people are allowed if there's just one person doing their own thing, not bringing in other employees and stuff. So the entire town does allow business, but just certain businesses that are, as it says, customary home occupations, meaning, you know, guys that leave their house in the morning and go do things.
That's the important thing is I literally get in the truck, start it up, drive away, and come home. I'm not bringing clients' trees out of the ground home and cutting them here and processing them here.
May I also add, I would like to add something. I'm confused though. Don't you have an employee that goes there and collects the vehicle, parks his car on the grass?
He doesn't do any work there.
No,
But he's an employee. He goes there, parks his vehicle, and leaves. That's a base of operations. I mean, it's a business. At the end of the day, I believe it. I mean, I don't know. To me, I think it's a business. It's a base of operations. I mean, there's coming and going. There's basically essentially a parking lot at the end of the day. And
I agree, it is a base of operation, and it is allowed unless there's a deed restriction, which again I'm unaware of.
But I thought you had said it's different if there's no employees that are going there, just him operating a business out of his property. But it sounds like there is an employee.
There are employees allowed in these customary home occupations.
Oh, I thought you
It is
said
in the bylaws.
I thought you said it wasn't. I'm sorry.
No.
Bob,
It shouldn't. It's limited to size, though. It definitely, you can't have 15 employees driving 15 trucks in a big operation. But there is nothing that says you can't have an employee pick up a vehicle.
Well, my main point is you allow one. Where's it gonna stop?
Well,
And,
with this board, with one, because that's all we would be allowing is the one.
I understand I'd have to get another. I don't want any more vehicles. This is ending here, but they seem to think if I get this permit, I'm going to all of a sudden become DW White with $10 million in trucks. That's not my intention, believe me. I'd like to be smaller if I could. If I get I guess the big question is, say I decide even on my own, if I get this permit and one of the guys, just to make the neighbors happier, one of the guys takes the truck home. He's allowed to come back here, town zoning laws, and pick a trailer up and leave with that trailer with that truck, right? If he comes here in that truck.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the only difference, but then the truck's going to be.
But you're not allowed to unload materials onto the property.
You don't unload. I don't even cut and split my own firewood here. I do that somewhere else. I don't do any of that here. There's none of that being done here. And this is the issue that I have with it, because there's so many bylaws being violated in and around, and we're getting targeted because we have an additional truck here.
No, listen, no, you're not getting targeted. Mike, I have no issue with you, guy. My main issue is my property value dropping because you're parking your trailers and your landscaping equipment on the property. I don't have any landscaping your trucks. That's the only issue I have with you, Mike.
Let me.
I guess my biggest question is, every neighbor here, with the exception of Marco, has multiple vehicles at the property, trailers, campers, grows things they're not supposed to be growing, has buildings that aren't permitted. I just don't see the huge issue with one additional truck.
Gentlemen, one more time, we got to resolve this.
Yes,
Get
I
back
guess
to what we're here for. If you want us to vote tonight, we'll vote. If you don't want us to vote tonight, you can continue it.
Roast things. I don't know what's going on.
I mean, it's only one. I guess I would wait for the additional member, but is that even allowable?
You have to make the decision, yes or no.
I don't know that at this point it is.
It won't make a difference because
help 'em.
the fifth person was not here to hear it tonight.
Okay, then I guess go for the vote. I mean, honestly, we've taken up enough of your time.
We need a motion to vote any way, up or down. Is there one?
I'll make a motion to, what's the word terminology I want to use on this? 3.33B8, parking for more than one truck or commercial vehicle on this gentleman's property. I'll make a motion that we allow him to park one more commercial vehicle on his property.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 So moved. So,
Okay.
Neighbors, I just want you to be aware, you do have, we did unanimously, 4 out of 4, vote to allow him one additional vehicle, not to expand his business or do any business or anything, but to park and have one extra commercial vehicle there. You do have a right of appeal. Amanda will explain all that to you, please.
There'll be a paper. I just need you to go in probably anytime by Monday on, if you go by the town clerk's office to sign 2 copies of it. It'll explain the whole appeal period and what you need to do after that for filing. And any abutters or anybody in appeal can be filed through Superior Court it's a 20-day appeal period.
So I got a question. Right now, he still has to get one off the property because one is still, he's got 3 registered right now, right?
There's still a 20-day appeal period. So he can take care of that at the registry if he wants to swap the plates on the other one. That's his personal one. And anything outside, once it goes into effect, any complaints or anything against this vote, if he is not in compliance with it, or if there's any other questions as far as what else is on his property, can all go through the zoning and enforcement officer. That's Building Inspector Jim Merritt. He would be the one to enforce it after it goes into effect.
That's all the business.
Okay.
That's all the business I have on the agenda for this evening. Do any of the members have anything else they'd like to add? New business or otherwise?
Just wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Be safe.
Right.
Guys.
Thanksgiving to you all as well.
In January.
Michael, I would try to be a good neighbor over
And
there.
have a nice Christmas too.
We are. Do I need to do anything further or come to the next meeting? Or
Yeah, go down to the town clerk's office Monday on. I'll have all the paperwork will be there already stamped in for you. You're just going to sign a couple copies of things and they'll give you whatever you need.
Okay, and just so the board knows, I have been attempting to get an appointment at the registry to switch that plate, but there are no appointments available.
I understand that as well.
I've been trying for 3 months, but thank you.
Good. You're welcome.
All right.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I will second. Oh, you got it? Okay.
All in favor?
Aye. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
You too. Take care.
You too.